Alright, so we're going to remove the Volkswagen Racing intake, and we're going to clean it using some ATG filter cleaner. I'm going to use that filter cleaner specifically because this actually is a Volkswagen, an ATG filter. It's basically one of their Max Gen filters. So used a bit driver, pair of pliers to get rid of that small rubber bump stop there, change the size of the bit. I mean, take that off and swap that around anyway, so that's good. So we should be able to remove the main filter element here now from the back side. And let's see if I have any luck getting this off. It's been on there for a while, so I do not have any luck getting it off. I'm not going to force it. Don't want to tear that. That is a rubber fitting that's on there, so I'm just going to tighten that back up and go for the two screws that are on there. So pull the two screws off, T20 Torx bit, pull those screws off. As you can see, my filter container is actually pretty dusty. I live in New Mexico, so I can only imagine what the inside of this filter is going to look like when we get it pulled apart. It's kind of useless to try and keep my engine bay super clean. So there we go. That's all apart. You can look up in there maybe and see it's pretty dirty. Again, I live in New Mexico, so now oh, look, some bird from the other day. Wonder if I had some stuck up underneath the car. Anyways, so little beat up. This was used when I bought it, and I'm okay with that because it still does its job. So now we need to get some hex keys and get this thing apart. Alright, so this is on a box, just for easy viewing. We're using number 3 hex here to remove these small hex heads that hold the whole filter canister itself together. Okay, set these off to the side someplace where you won't lose them. The bottom one seems to be the nastiest, which tells me this thing has a lot of fluid in it. Thankfully, we'll get it all cleaned up. Next stage of the video, when we get ready to start the cleaning, I'll show you the bottles that we're going to use. All the products can be ordered from Eurosport Accessories in California. So there we go. The 3 small hex heads are out, and you just simply remove the filter. That's not good. My filter split. So as you can see, this particular filter canister is quite dirty. There is a lot of stuff in this filter. So thankfully, maybe I'll use some super glue on that to get it glued back together. We'll see. But there we go. That's the filter. So now we're just going to clean it up and clean out the canister here. Probably vacuum the canister out and take another shot at it. So there you go. There's a good view of the canister and some of the junk that gets sucked up into the canister, if you can see that. Really nasty. Obviously, if you have one of these filters, you're going to want to clean this thing quite often. Here's the actual filter itself. This filter looks like it's seen better days. So I'm going to clean this thing out and attempt to get this filter to closed back up. It looks like whatever the sealant was that they used didn't do a very good job. So maybe I'll silicone it or something like that. But there we go. There's the filter. Alright, so here we are inside. We're all set up to start the cleaning process. As you can see, I've got this cleaning kit from ITG. This was purchased online through Eurosport Accessories out in California. I actually bought two of these kits. I bought one that is just the cleaning fluid, and then one that is the bottle of oil. So this is the oil that comes shipped in that other container. Okay, so this is what we're looking for here. This is the light retention oil. It's a 200 milliliter bottle. Okay, there's some good instructions about how to use it. Then in this box, I've already cut it open so I could take a peek. You get an ITG sticker, isn't that nice? And then you get a set of dual use instructions here, one for oiling your filter and one for cleaning your filter. You'll see cleaning fluid is intended to be used in a two-part cleaning process. The fluid breaks down the sticky dust retention oil in the filter, which is then washed off using warm water. So that's what we're going to do. That's why I'm sitting here next to the sink. Talks about making sure you get it in, and you got to kind of squeeze it in, massage it in with your hands. So don't be afraid to get your hands a little dirty on this process. Okay, so here's the CL1 fluid. The baggie that it comes in here, we'll stick all that back in the box. Close up the knife. Always use safety. Right. What they said. Get this thing ready to go here. So I'm going to start with probably the actual housing itself first. Stream and spray on your nozzle just like any other. Give that a good spray down there. I'm going to set that in the other side of my sink. Move my oil out of the way. And now I'm going to spray this down. I suggest you use a pretty well ventilated area. My kitchen's not bad. It doesn't too bad as far as ventilation goes. So I'm going to spray this on. Nice and heavy. Yes, I'm a little worried about the crack in it. I'm just going to spray it onto the inside, because this is all going to get washed in the end. Okay, so there's the cleaning fluid. So now that it's on, I'm going to kind of massage it in and get it going here. You can probably wear some gloves if you'd like. Okay, you can see the oil is already starting to come off. There is a foam filter, or not a foam filter element, but there is an element, a wire mesh element in here that you'll feel. Okay, so as you're getting this in, yep, it's starting to come off. It's starting to break down the fluid and the sticky retention. This was very sticky to begin with. Okay. But this element, it's not just a foam element that's easily broken down. Hey, look, there's my little Golf R logo. You can kind of see it on there still. See if we can get it to come back to life after we get ready to start washing it here. Should probably be wearing rubber gloves, but oh well. My hands have seen worse. The good thing is that it's completely broken down all of this goo. So you can see on my hands, this is all the dirt and everything that's on it. So I'm going to fire up my water here. Get that nice and hot. Rub off the inside of my filter canister here. Lots of dirt and grime in here. I can tell that this was never washed or cleaned before the guy sent it to me, and that's fine. You'll notice that my hands come completely clean. Okay, so now we're going to wash this element out. Okay, start from the inside and just let it wash. I don't know if you guys can see the dirt coming off of it, but it is rather substantial. So of course this is going to have to dry for a while, so I would suggest if you're going to do this, you're not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. Looks like whoever owned it before me had a dog. So this didn't split, this element in the filter didn't split all the way through. Hey look, there's the R logo that's supposed to be there. I'm going to spray it one more time with this cleaner. Get up along the edge here that I missed a little bit the first time around. I want to make sure this filter is nice and clean so that when it dries, it is ready to be back in business. Completely different color of cleanser now that it's wet. I seem to have gotten most of the dirt off the first time around. It's a good sign. This inside seam that I keep talking about is has a good rough edge on it, so it should adhere well when I put some super glue on it. Okay. Now, you can probably do this outside and get away with it with your hose, and I might suggest that that be where you do it. I chose to do mine inside for the purposes of the video. I live by myself, so it's only me that has to deal with the smell overall. Okay. You can definitely feel the wire element inside the filter itself. So don't be afraid to get your hand down in here, get the crevice. There's still some dirt down in here that I can feel. Understand though that this filter element is built onto this canister, so you cannot replace just the filter end if the filter starts to deteriorate. You would have to buy a whole new element or talk to Volkswagen Racing about getting a replacement. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. The inside of the element looks pretty good actually. There's a secondary layer on the inside of the element made of a denser foam material than what you see on the outside. The outside is very porous. The inside is not so porous. It is a quite dense material. So I think that's the inner filter element is kind of the layer between the mesh screen and your regular outside element screen here, which is part of what makes this filter element so good. So I'm just going to wring it out here. Now, I will take this element outside eventually and give it a really good shake to try and get some of the water out of it. I will also pat it down. There we go. There's a good look at the Volkswagen Racing emblem. We'll wash this thing out here. Give this a good wash. This is all part of the system. There is a drain hole in it, so if you do get a little bit of water into the front intake system, there's a small drain hole down here in the bottom, so it will drain out, hopefully before you get any major water down into the actual element itself. Okay, so that's about it for the washing process. We will continue on here in a bit with the drying process. Alright, so I've taken this element outside, shook it out for a couple of minutes. So now I'm just going to pat dry it. I actually have the option, and I think I'm going to do this. I actually have a regular clothes dryer that has a shelf in it. And what I think I'm going to do for this to expedite the process overall, because I have to go to work tomorrow, is I'm going to take this filter element and I'm going to set it in the dryer and let it dry. Right now it's pretty dry to the touch. It's not sopping wet. I'm not pulling any more water or dirt or anything out of it, as you can see. But it is still a little damp, and I think that's from the element on the inside. So that's going to go in my my dryer and get a chance to dry and thoroughly bake. So wash this off the rest of the way, get some dirt off of it, which is going to be counterproductive because, well, pretty much as soon as it goes back on the car, it's going to be dirty again. So wipe this off as best as possible, make it all pretty. I think I'm actually going to go. I think I'm going to hit this again with the cleaner on the outside because it's quite gooey. So I'm going to do that now. And get some of this stuff off. I might even put the ITG sticker back on it, since it really is an ITG filter. This canister is actually made quite well. It is aluminum, so if you do want to take it apart and sand it down and paint it a different color, easy enough to do. This will probably eventually be painted white, but for now, I did a lot of stuff leading up to going out to Festivus. This was a quick purchase, so I didn't get a chance to do to it what I wanted, but that's not what this video is about. This video is to help you guys clean up your canister. I'm just talking so that you can shut your volume off because you don't want to listen to me. Okay, so there we go. Outside canister's all cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Nothing of any major concern on it to be worried about here. Inside of the canister, get it all nice and dry. It's been cleaned out, so I've got a nice, almost new product. I mean, aesthetically, it looks pretty good actually. So we're gonna move forward with this because it is now dry, considerably better than it was before. As far as dirt and grime and everything goes. So there's that. So the filter canister is good to go, nice and clean. So now we're gonna dry the filter. Okay. All right. So filter element is completely dry. I tried to seal that little bottom crack back up, but didn't work completely. It's all right. Not too worried about it. So now we're going to use the dust retention coating. If you follow the instructions, it tells you about 6 inches away, continuous spray, and then to massage the oil in before it dries. So here we go. Alright, so now we're going to give that oil a chance to set up and dry, and we'll get to putting it back together. Alright, so filter's had a chance to get a little tacky. Got a little bit of oil on it, but it's tacked up a little bit. So we're just going to put this system all back together now, like it came apart. Okay. Wrong side. Just like anything, don't snug it down until you've got all the screws back in place so that you can check it to make sure everything's in good shape. Final one goes on the bottom here. Okay. No torque on these, just make them tight. Alright, there we go. So that is the completed re-oiling of our filter. Hope this video was able to help you out a little bit. For those of you that have never done a foam filter or cleaned it out like that, hopefully this helps you with the process. Again, all the products were purchased, they're ITG for the United States. Their primary distributor is Eurosport Accessories out in California, and web link to the page actually for these cleaning products will be at the end of the video. Thanks.